Man, these boys just beat the state. The jury didn't even find RICO. You saying RICO? I didn't see RICO. The jury evidently didn't see RICO, but the state did. Now, all the things that we got to see, the presentation, the yelling up there in front of the jury. Ooh, I bet that L is hard to sit down. Y'all remember that whoopee cushion seat? Well, now we understand why you was dropping so hard in that seat. Y'all still got an L on this case. Now, how does that look on the paperwork for the state? Man. If you're new, make sure y'all hit that notification bell, that like, share, comment, and subscribe. Grab a seat. We finna dig deep. Yo, so the verdict came back. The jury went back and deliberated. What was this? A couple of days into the week, Tuesday? What was that? Almost not even 5 days, not even 5 full days, not even 4.
Ladies and gentlemen, I understand that you all have reached a verdict. Mr. Foreperson, is that correct? All right. And was it unanimous?
Yes.
All right. And this verdict has been filled in and signed and dated by you, correct? Or for each defendant? Yes. All right. And I noticed that Mr. Kendrick's verdict form is dated December 2nd. Is that because that's when you all reached the verdict with regard to him? Okay. And then Mr. Stillwell's is dated today.
Correct.
Okay.
For the actual verdict, did the state prove their case? Absolutely not. Now, we knew from the beginning that the state's plot, what this whole narrative was actually about to expose when the actual jury went back with the evidence.
All right, Mr. Kendrick, you have been found not guilty on all charges. Mr. Stillwell, can you please stand? You have been found guilty on count 64, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, and not guilty on every other charge. So, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you are officially released from further service, and I cannot express the degree of thanks that Fulton County owes you for your service. Given the length of this trial, you have paid close attention this entire time, and I appreciate your devotion, as I'm sure do the parties in this case. You are welcome to stay for the sentencing, or you can return to the jury room. I would like to speak with you in just a moment in the jury room. If you all do want to stay, you're welcome to stay. Is there any objection to the form or the legality of this verdict?
No proceedings.
Any from the defense? All right. All right. Is there any reason that we can't go ahead and sentence?
Your Honor, may we approach?
You may. All right, so are we going to go ahead with sentencing? Is the state, I know the state had filed a recidivist notice.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do y'all intend to stand on that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So the recidivist is A and C recidivist. That means that I have no discretion but to sentence to the maximum on that count. And the sentence possibility is 5 to 10. I must sentence to 10 years. However, I can probate any part of that sentence at my discretion. And so the court sentence on count 64 for Mr. Stillwell is going to be 10 years to serve 2, with credit for time served, the balance served on probation. All right, I am going to recess.
4 days to deliberate a case that took a year and a half, damn near 2 years for them to actually go through and present on an open and closed case. Make that make sense. Now, even worse, man, ask yourself this. SB just got off. 2 years, time served. Salute to the judge for going through there and actually commuting the time. He was still facing 10 years for the felony and possession of a firearm. And she commuted it to 2 years time served for him already being in there. Yeah, let's talk about it. This man, Thanksgiving, just got attacked in the back. And I'm going to drop a video about that too, because I actually do feel like they were targeted by the state. But I wanted to wait on this verdict, and I knew it was coming to not guilty. I knew it. I already knew that. I'd been saying it. The state ain't proved this case. Rico's still out here on vacation. Damn near 2 years later, they still ain't found Rico. Now, let's talk about those that actually took them pleas. Now, personal opinion, I do feel two different ways when it comes to those defendants that took those pleas. I do feel like the last ones that actually took those pleas possibly should have stayed. However, if those defendants that took those pleas would have stayed on this case, it actually probably would have put more pressure on these last two defendants when it came to their charges and beating the state. Now, that's just my personal opinion. I still think they should have stood 10 toes down and finished this case. Because you see what Yak just got. No charges, no probation. Now, he did just lose a lot of time that he's not going to get back. Plus, he almost like lost his life, right before the court? Like, the state, in my personal opinion, set these boys up. They were targeted from the beginning. They wanted to prove that these were the two shooters to those actual families. But even more sick, as the state just drugged these victims' families through all of the situations with the case for the jury to go back there and deliberate not guilty. Bad look for the state. Even beyond this case, look at the impact that this case has actually left, and look at the footprint that the state actually left when it came to the victim's family of this case. That's the sick part of it. Now, we want to go even deeper. I definitely got to say salute to the defense team for actually standing on 10 toes down and actually pushing this case all the way. Weinstein, man, he did his thing. Constructive possession. But that make sense. They knew then that was over with. All the witnesses you brought in, you hardly ever heard about Yak until it came to the end when they talking about the maniac is back in the lyrics. Stop it. They showed that he stood on the bench. Could have been a bet gone wrong. Did the state prove anything otherwise? Absolutely not. So what's the jury supposed to do? Prove this beyond a reasonable doubt. So did they prove it beyond a reasonable doubt? Absolutely not. We heard more beliefs, allegations, speculations when it came to this actual case. So in my personal opinion, man, these two defendants that stood 10 toes were the strongest two when it came to this case. Now, let's dig a little bit deeper. Salute to them actual defendants for actually making it through. But this case should have actually been a learning experience and a learning lesson to everybody that actually paid attention and tuned in. For one, stop posting your every move. Stop using your cell phone to photograph and take pictures and video everything. Stop tweeting everything. Everything is not to be said. Everything doesn't have to be said. Some things, as you see with this case, are better left unsaid than they are deleted. Stop thinking that what you type on a social platform can actually be deleted. Because as you see, this case proved that somebody above you always has access to it. Another thing we should pay attention to. Pay attention to the words and the verbiage that you play when you're going through the music. You don't have to rap about the whole real life situation. Use your artistry to be more creative. Like this what this case should have taught. Stop talking on recorded phone lines. Like, man, that's one of the biggest things with this whole case. This case probably would have been over had they not had half of the jail calls that they had. But I'm not going to lie. The jail calls do create doubt because it makes you question. But then at the same time, if you show that all of these people are individually locked up, not even together back then, they're not all consistently locked up there. This one's in, this one's out, this one's in, this one out. Make it make sense. Where's the conspiracy? They never proved the motive. They never showed furtherance. They never showed anything. Where's the orchestration? You heard even the state's own witness come up there and says there is no leader. They're not organized. A hybrid gang. Yo, man. Hey, salute to the acronyms that they came up with during this case, too. Truly humble under God. My favorite one was No Slime Left Behind. That's what they just actually did. Nobody was left behind when it came to this actual case that stood with the actual defendant. These defendants actually just beat this case. I know some people gonna argue, man, he didn't beat the case because SB. No, SB was actually facing how many years? Think about the deal that the state just offered him. You talking about 40 plus years. And then probation after 40. This man already have damn what, 30? 70 years old and get out on probation, man. Do the math. You just got away with what? 8 years probation? Well, these boys just did better than the dudes that took the pleas. Even Thug. Thug got 15 years probation. He messed up with, what, 20 years backlog time? Man, Now, it's interesting because even with this case, now, I do want to ask y'all this. Would it help this case or did he really hurt this case? Did he really finesse and did they really spend the state? Because there's a lot of questions I still got answers that I would need to be answered, but I just want to know, would it actually help this case when he finessed them and did they actually all spend the state? So again, man, it is good to see actual justice prevail. So the system wasn't what the jury showed, a complete fail. Now, these boys went back there and they actually just deliberated the state's evidence, and the state didn't actually prove their case. Now, even more interesting, we actually just all watched and witnessed this through the world. People's rights, their violations. We watched the Brady laws. We watched the ex partes, a judge being removed. We watched these defendants be attacked in the back that the state kept off the news. Like, make it make sense. In my personal opinion, this was all targeted. The entire case, the conspiracy, the RICO, all of that should be right there with the state, not with the defendants that actually just beat this case. And salute to the jury for actually deliberating and coming out with this verdict when it came to this case. These boys were facing life sentences, damn near 40 years. 40 years. Those were the plea deals to a unanimous not guilty decision. Free, no probation, no paperwork, no nothing. Give him back all his possessions. Then you got SB. Salute to the judge for commuting his time. 10 years down to 2 times served, 8 years probation, slap on the wrist. Man, these boys got a second chance. A second chance. And she been giving them second chances since Jack's birthday because she knew that what the state was doing was definitely illegal. She knew that they were violating their actual powers and violating these defendants' rights. But again, this goes to show the life you save might be your very own. This case should have been a learning experience and a learning lesson to everybody that tuned in and jumped on. As always, the greater the height, the greater the weight. Till next time.